So Dave is going to cook us a meal. So we're going to have a drink, an appetizer, a full dish, and a dessert. I don't know what the Abra Plaza burger is, but apparently she's been photoshopped onto another woman's body very lazily, very terribly there. That is incredibly terrible. The Naughty Girl, I'm interested to see what the hell a Naughty Girl is, but apparently it's upcoming, as is, let's see, alright. I wish he'd do these as like a playlist. So, we did the Chocolate Sunrise earlier. No idea what the poem is about, but it certainly exists. Sometimes those are the best. Sometimes those are the best. So he doesn't seem to do things that are not like, he doesn't seem to do like soft drinks. So we're gonna be stuck doing like, I feel like a lemonade today. So let's see.
Welcome.
So let's see. Let's turn that up. Full screener. So the drink is, alright, the drink is a spiked lemonade, so, let's see. We're going to start a quick prediction on this. Start a prediction. Will we rate our meal? 1 to 2 stars. 2 to 3 stars. 4 to 5 stars. Abomination. Alright, so we've got 2 minutes to bet those points. We're betting on how many stars we will rate this meal as a whole. So we've got 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, and abomination. All right, so let's start with the drink, which is a spiked lemonade.
To Dave's Cooking Show, and for you today, we have spiked lemonade. All right, first thing we want to do is in a little bowl, put a half a cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice in with a quarter cup of warm water.
Okay. So kind of how like I made lemonade when I was 5 or 6.
Then we want to add a quarter cup of sugar.
Sure.
Then you want to grab a whisk and whisk this until the sugar is dissolved. Takes about, I don't know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
So far, unoffensive. Basic, very unoffensive. Like, I made this when I was a kiddo. This is something I would have made, I would still make today if I am, like, feeling kind of nostalgic and want to revisit my childhood. Although I might put it in, like, one of those, like, freezer pop things where I can make my own popsicles, and I'd, like, make them lemonade popsicles. Really refreshing on, like, a really hot day.
As you can see here, I have a small pitcher filled with ice. To that, I added a half a cup of cold water.
You're further watering it down? I mean, you're barely going to taste anything.
Now our lemonade mix.
Like, I'd add a bunch more lemon juice to this. A bunch more lemon juice. Maybe cut down a little bit on the sugar, but I like my lemonade tart.
Last but not least, this is spiked lemonade, so we got to have some booze in there. And you want 3 shots of Captain Morgan or whatever your favorite rum is.
Definitely not Captain Morgan, because Captain Morgan is just incredibly sugary. You've already got a quarter cup of sugar in there. That's way too much sugar already. If we're doing a spiked lemonade, rum is probably not your best option, because it's like its sweetness is going to further, it's going to be like just adding sugar to it. I'd go with something like I don't know, scotch, or like a blended scotch. Something with a bit more complexity, you know?
If Captain Morgan is a little too strong for you, you can certainly use something
Too strong. Captain Morgan is like 30%.
like Malibu. And then just, and In hindsight, I probably should have grabbed a spoon, but grab the whisk.
No.
And whisk everything around till everything is mixed together.
So we've got...
Then you want to grab a standard drinking glass and fill it to the top. This recipe should make 2 of them.
I think you're just going to drink it in the big glass
that's
mug.
That.
Like a big
Spiked lemonade.
That's overly sweet lemonade. So we've got overly sweet lemonade for our starter. For our drink. We're not starting off super strong. We are not starting off super strong here. All right. Got 1 vote for 1 to 2 stars. All right. For our starter, let's see. We need a good starter. Is there a starter? Does he have something that can work as a starter? Order the pizza fries. But does it compare to State Fair lemonade? Oh, aggressively not. Alright, so, like, it's basic first lemonade you make as a kiddo. So we're gonna try pizza fries. We're gonna try pizza fries because fries work as a traditional starter.
Welcome to Dave's Cooking Show, and
just waffle fries, just thrown haphazardly into a casserole dish. We're starting with waffle fries that are burned, thrown into a casserole dish.
For you today, we have some pizza fries, and they're real easy to make. As you can see here, I'm putting some waffle fries that I deep fried and then salt and pepper.
Why would you deep fry these, It's not a good plan.
Into a
you don't want to deep fry. They're designed. These are designed to be cooked on a baking sheet in an oven. That's what they're designed for.
Baking dish. I also preheated the oven to 350 degrees. Then we're going to add some pepperonis to this, and then we're going to add our pizza sauce. And the pizza sauce recipe is as follows. A 28-ounce can of tomato sauce, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 3 cloves of minced garlic.
Are you using real garlic, or are you using garlic? Because we've seen you use garlic. We've never seen you use actual garlic.
A teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar, a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I put all of that into a small crock pot. I place it on low and let it simmer after I've mixed it up, of course. And I let it simmer for a couple of minutes. So then we're just going to add...
This would be a great time, by the by, if you are ever thinking of putting a recipe on YouTube, to go ahead and, like, put that in, like, a document and, like, a PDF or a picture or, like, some kind of visual, and put it up there so that people can follow it, or maybe show us how you make that sauce.
Some pizza sauce to this.
Also, these pepperoni look very limp, very cheap, very terrible. Like, you can see, they are not really properly dried. It looks like they're just kind of like cheap Hormel bullshit.
And then we're going to top all this with some mozzarella cheese. And we're going to pop this into the oven for 10 or 15 minutes. And after 10 or 15 minutes, you should be looking at something like this. And that's pizza fries.
So, wads of cheese thrown on top, some barely dressed with what looks like a very terrible sauce, and some like dollar store pepperoni. That's fair, artistic simplicity. That's very fair. So we've got our drink of the spiked lemonade, the starter of the pizza fries. And with the pizza fries, I think we should do a sandwich as our mains. We're going to do a sandwich as our mains. And we're going to start with a new sandwich he's done. The gangster chicken sandwich. Can we figure out what makes it gangster? That is the question of the ages.
Welcome to Dave's Cooking Show. And for you today, we have a gangster chicken sandwich.
Are you going... Please explain what makes it gangster. Because I'm seeing... Oh, I've only given him 5 seconds.
All right, as you can see here, I have the baguette sliced in half. To that, I added some olive oil to the bread, and then just kind of a light drizzling of red wine vinegar.
So far, unoffensive.
Now, I'm adding...
I mean, this is sloppy as shit, and it looks like you mangled the hell out of this bread. Your bread knife is terrible.
In the first of our meats, some nice, lovely prosciutto.
Okay.
Then we're going to add a layer of pepperoni on top of the prosciutto.
All right.
And then we're going to add some chicken meat.
Okay.
You can pick this up in your local deli. And then you want to add some white American cheese to the pepperoni side of the sandwich. By the way, you should be heating your oven to about 425 degrees.
A little high.
And then finally, some fresh mozzarella. You can find fresh mozzarella in the deli section of any.
For a chicken sandwich, we're very cheese heavy, which is going to overpower the chicken, and we're very the problem with adding the pepperoni here is it's going to overpower the taste of the chicken. It's not really a chicken sandwich, it's more just a sandwich that has chicken in it.
Decently sized grocery store. It'll be where all their cheeses are. They come in logs or balls. I just grabbed one of the mozzarella cheese balls, and I'm just kind of tearing pieces off. And
I can tell you're just tearing things off.
Putting them on the chicken. And then we're just going to pop this in the oven until the bread's nicely toasted, the meat's nicely crisped up, and the cheese is all melty and happy and delicious. One last thing we do before we put this in the oven. This is optional, but I really think it helps. Give a dusting of freshly ground black pepper.
Okay.
And as you see here, we have our aluminum foil ready.
This is crying for peppers.
Then we're just going to add some shreddis.
It's the pre-shredded stuff that comes in a bag, the iceberg, that tastes like fucking nothing.
Again, I don't know what it does, but every time you wrap a sub, it just makes it taste better. Now we're adding just a little bit of minced onions. I think because it compresses it, everything kind of gets a chance to get to know one another for a little bit. And now I'm adding some banana peppers, pepperoncini peppers, whatever you like.
Yeah, they're going to slip and slide in there.
And now we're going to drizzle on some mayonnaise.
We've added way too many flavors to this. It's just going to taste like pepperoni and mayonnaise.
Let's be honest, mayonnaise makes everything better.
I disagree. I actually don't like mayonnaise. I find the texture is a little bit oily. I find it tastes like it's a very strong flavor that I could do without.
Now we're going to put the top part of the sandwich on top, get this in the middle of our piece of aluminum foil, and we're going to roll the sandwich up tightly.
Everything's already
give it about 30 seconds before you cut it in half.
It's like mayo too.
All right.
See, artistic simplicity agrees
now
with
the
me.
two halves are cut apart, and that's that. A gangster
terrible.
Chicken sandwich.
What makes it gangster? What makes it a chicken sandwich? This is a sandwich that contains chicken. If you are baking a chicken sandwich, the only meat that should be in there is chicken, and you should be getting things that complement the flavor of the chicken. You want to do like an oven roasted chicken? That sounds great. I do a chicken sandwich that would have like shredded chicken breast, and I do like a marinara thing with it, so that you'd have kind of like a chicken parm. You could add some cheese to that, make it kind of like a cool chicken parm sandwich. You could even do it warm, but anyways, so I digress. So for our starter, we have the pizza fries, we have the chicken sandwich, we have the drink is a spiked lemonade. So we're getting kind of like a lunch feel. So we need a dessert now. We need a dessert. Toshi is a gangster because he has all these other meats to his chicken, right? Okay. So we're going back into... Dear God, we're going back into December to find a dessert. We may have to... Where can we find a dessert? How to make hot honey? Does that count? Tuna sticks? No. Like, for a weird, like, fat guy, he doesn't have a lot of desserts. That's kind of upsetting, and I'm a little bit depressed by it. Chocolate mint chip cookies. Okay, our dessert is cookies.
Welcome to today's cooking show, and for you today we have chocolate mint chip cookies. All right, let's get into this. Okay, in this bowl here I have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And then I want 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and make sure it is baking soda, not baking powder.
Okay.
Some people think they're the exact same things. They are not.
Nobody thinks that, Dave.
So 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
All right, delightful.
And then we want 3/4 of a cup of cocoa.
Thinks it just doesn't
no,
want to
not
admit
the
it
hot
there.
chocolate kind of cocoa, the one that's in the Hershey's thing. You'll see it in the baking section.
No one is gonna think they're adding they're adding like cocoa, the drink, to the cookies, Dave.
And then you just want to give this a stir around and make sure everything is mixed. Kind of looking for something like that once we're all done.
All right, that's so far unoffensive.
All right, now it's time
Kinda
to
basic, but
combine
unoffensive.
the quote-unquote wet ingredients. What you want to do is, to a mixing bowl of a stand mixer, combine 1 cup of white sugar.
Oh, God, that's right. He doesn't believe in washing his hands.
Followed by 1 cup of brown sugar.
It's too much sugar.
And then you want to add 2 sticks
Just put your hands
room
right in there, Dave,
temperature
right?
butter. And you basically want to go until the butter and sugars are creamed together. And once they've creamed together, it's time to crack in 2 eggs.
Every time he says creamed, like my genitals start fusing shut.
Give the egg a little time to get
and
mixed
retracting into my body for
to the dough.
self-defense.
About crack one in, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Crack the other one in, another 35 to 45 seconds. And then add 1 teaspoon.
This is actually a solid mixer, like a really solid mixer. It looks like it's never been cleaned. Like, that is gunked to fuck. Like, this right here is stained, but, like, in here, you can tell there's, like, remnants of shit. This needs to be cleaned. Because if this isn't, like, it's not super detrimental, like, if you're doing, like, a rag in there every now and again. Like, that is going to be helpful, but that is build-up where he's never done anything.
Of vanilla extract. And give that about another 30 seconds or so.
How does he give this more attention
and
than he gives the
also,
pizza
periodically
dough?
while you're doing this, scrape down the sides. And then you want to slowly start adding in...
Oh, that dough is far too... That is...
dry ingredients.
Oh, there we go. I thought that was the finished
ingredients.
product for a second.
And just keep it on low. Trust me, they'll come together.
You should have
And
sifted
you
it in.
want to go till you have a dough that looks about like this. And then you want to add 2 packages of mint chocolate chips. I used the Andes variety of mint chocolate chips.
Right, those
You
are
can
actually
use
pretty
whatever one
solid.
you want.
Those are pretty solid.
But I went with the Andes. And then you just want to give this another bit of a mix around. And then, yeah, just a nice little stir, something like this. You don't want to go too long, and you don't want to go too fast.
It's really nice to let him use our old mixer. Right,
Okay,
lovely
now
lady.
preheat the oven to 350 degrees.
You're gonna want to. Oh, this is gonna be a nightmare because these balls are all different sizes. So since they're all different sizes, they're going to bake unevenly.
And you're going to want to roll the dough into balls that are about 2 tablespoons of dough per cookie. And then you want to place them roughly 1.5 to 2 inches apart. And then you're going to want to bake them.
Like this one is about 1.7 times, 5 times bigger than that
Again,
one.
with cookies, you
Some
kind of
really
have
dry
to
dough, right?
pull them out
It's
while they're
very,
still cooking.
very
Just
dry,
leave them
not
on
very
the cookie
tacky.
tray. They will continue to cook for like 3 or 4 more minutes. If you pull them when they're done, by the time that they've cooled down so you can handle them, they're already overcooked. But if you like crispy cookies, then by all means do that. All right, let's see ourselves 10 to 12 minutes in the future. Okay, and 10 to 12 minutes have passed.
Yeah, you can tell these did not cook at the same rate. This one is going to be much drier than this one. This one is absolutely knackered. It's still wet. This one is dry as a bone. So he can let his children know their order of importance to him. Oh, Dave, yeah, fair enough. Oh, thank God Dave is not a parent.
And our cookies are done.
But that's definitely a feature, not a bug.
Absolutely delicious.
All right. So we've had our meal. We've had our meal. Now it's time to rate. It's a new poll. Rating. 1, 2, 3, 4, and abomination. So you have 1 minute to bet, or not to bet, to decide. The choice is all of yours. 1 through 4, because 5 is, of course, not a thing that's happening. And then abomination. And I'm going to vote as well. Or I think I'll save my vote, because it looks like more people are voting. Oh, God. 14 votes for 1. Well, that's going on. I'm going to pull up the thing.